Hello, 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 and hello.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to another Thursday night edition of Fuck Your Feelings, the show. I am your host, Rob. This is my host, Toshiba, excuse me.
You forgot my name
And
today?
no, just
Yeah, you
kind of
haven't been
fat tongue
drinking
there
yet.
for a second. No. And happy holidays, I guess, just because, whatever you celebrate.
So I had Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanza, Feliz Navidad, and Merry Christmas. And sorry if I missed anything. I think those
So
are the
whatever you celebrate, I think you should be acknowledged and recognized for whatever it is that you are into. And this time of the year tends to be holidays in many different parts of the world. So that's kind of why we don't really have a particular topic other than just
Christmas. Holiday
Christmas
stuff.
stuff, holiday stuff. Users' feedback is more than welcome, and we're gonna run it a little short this evening just because it is the holidays, and we're gonna get back to holiday stuff. So
You want me to start because this is my topic.
welcome. Yeah, go ahead, so, welcome, man. I'm pass the ball to her.
So, of course, it is the holiday season, and I wanted to talk about Christmas, like happy memories from Christmas, Christmas traditions. What does Christmas or the holidays mean to you? I mean, we celebrate Christmas, and so we have to speak about Christmas. But if you're online and you celebrate any other holiday, let us know if there are any particular traditions that you celebrate. Vegas Light Bitch is on. He says, I'm on my way to work. Turn up, y'all. I'm exhausted.
Turn up. I don't know what we're going to turn up. Just holiday ridiculousness, I guess.
So I'll start with some questions, and of course we'll have our question bowl. We're only going to go an hour today. But growing up, was there any particular Christmas tradition that you had that you either enjoyed or hated?
No, I can't really think of anything standing out either, like on the hate side of things for sure. I know as a kid, you'd always be excited for it's a grub fest when you're a youth, in my opinion. You know what I mean? You only caring about what you get and what people can do for you around Christmas time of year and stuff like that. And that's understandable. I think it's more of a child's type of holiday from that perspective as far as the gift giving. I think when you have older people with that attitude of you didn't give me nothing, woody woody woo. I mean your immediate vicinity people, I can understand that, but like, just as when you're grown, it's I don't know. I don't know a lot of adults that'd be like poo-faced if they don't have gifts. At that point, you're more providing gifts for other people and stuff like that.
Oh, so you're gonna bring me to my next question, and then I'll answer both of the questions myself. Go ahead.
Well, I just realized because I think maybe I was just talking from a guy's perspective too, so it'd be interesting to hear yours because I don't think the ladies are too happy not getting stuff on Christmas. I'm just guessing.
I'm just saying. So let me ask you about, you just mentioned gift giving to children. Do you think that the gift giving should be earned, or do children automatically get gifts by the virtue that they're children?
I think it's more on the end of earned, but then there's just a natural part of just the process where you don't want to, like, we don't live in a world where they put lumps of coal in the stockings no more. You know what I mean? Might be good if we did, but it's just you're really. Yeah, but yeah, I think it is definitely more something that's you earn. You gotta kind of pull your weight, do your thing, and that's as the kids get older. Younger kids, I don't know. Like I don't think you're gonna go hard if they've been acting up all year. But then it's like it's a little bit late in the year to be worried about they've been acting up all year. Like you should have been trying to figure out like why is like that the kid on Kendra the other night where he was just in the background like
slamming doors and stuff. Yeah, that's a little hard. So Vegas Lights Bitch says my birthday is 2 days after I hated Christmas. And I always think that actually sucks for people who are either born on Christmas. So my niece is born on Christmas. I've got a young niece who her birthday is Christmas Day. My grandmother, rest in peace, her birthday was Christmas Day. And I dated a guy whose birthday was also 2 days after Christmas. I know several people whose birthdays are either really right before Christmas or right after Christmas. And I can always say for me, I can tell you with my boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend at the time, I made sure he had the same attitude. He hated Christmas because nobody ever celebrated him on Christmas. And so I made it a point to get him a separate like Christmas. And I actually took him to Vegas on his birthday. This is the first time anybody had actually done something really nice for him, because I felt terrible that here was this man in his mid-30s and no one, because they always said your birthday was close to Christmas. So I think, to try to make somebody feel special, because I'm bigger on birthdays than I am on Christmas, because I don't think Christmas is, so to answer the questions backward, I don't think Christmas are about gifts. I think Christmas is about family. I think Christmas is about spending time with family. Like growing up, getting to the dishes. Growing up, we went to church on Christmas Day. I might do that this year again. My daughter is in town. She arrived early this morning, late last night, depending on how you see it. And so I was saying to her, it was something that we've always done, was to make sure that if any day we were at church, it was Christmas Day. And so we go and we are thankful and grateful for the fact that we're still here. So that was a big thing for me. I get up in the morning and I put on Feliz Navidad. And so everybody in this house is going to be annoyed on Christmas morning, because I'm going to get up early. I'm going to play Feliz Navidad over and over again, because that's actually a song that reminds me of back home in Jamaica, because people don't know, Jamaicans actually, a lot of us speak English and Spanish. I don't. But Feliz Navidad is a huge Christmas song in Jamaica. So I put that on and I'll make some ackee and saltfish, and I'll just like really enjoy. We used to have like sorrel. It's a drink. It's a drink back home. We used to have sorrel and we used to have black cake. And it was just like a whole celebration about family. It was about family coming together. And it didn't matter how much you had or how little you had. You knew that family was going to come together. And that's always been a thing for me. And I know my sister next year wants us to actually go back home to Jamaica and rent a villa and have like kind of all of the family in one row and have one big house that we can celebrate Christmas. So I'm really big on that. And I definitely want to do that next year. When it comes to gift giving, I think I've kind of already answered the question. I am from the generation where I believe that you get a lump of coal. I don't think people should automatically get gifts just because they're kids or adults. So to answer your question, if I have been the worst girlfriend ever of the year, one, I don't think you'd be with me. But secondly, I don't think that automatically because I'm here and I'm your girlfriend that I get a gift. I think it is earned. I think the same with children. If children have been misbehaved and they have what I like to call unbecoming behavior, I don't reward unbecoming behavior. I don't do it on Christmas. I don't do it on their birthdays. I don't do it anytime, because I think in life you earn things, and this is about family and Jesus and coming together, and it's not about gifts. I didn't do Santa Claus with my daughter growing up. I was Santa Claus, and so I could decide who was going to get. And remember Santa Claus saying, you got to find out who's naughty and nice, right? Santa Claus is coming to town. So for people who told the lies to their children about Christmas, they also told them about being naughty or nice. If you were naughty, you weren't getting a gift. Well, since I'm Santa, if you have unbecoming behavior, I don't reward that. So I know every family does it differently, and I think, you do what's best, but I try to prepare, and I can tell you with my daughter, I prepared her for life. And life doesn't give you things just because of, it's a holiday. Yes, you've been bad all year, and yes, you've lied all year, and yes, your behavior has been unbecoming, but here's all of these Christmas gifts. No, you get nothing. And then try again next year. That's kind of my attitude toward Christmas. So I know I would not expect a gift from you, because if I cussed you out all year and told you about, no. But I think I've definitely been a great girlfriend. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to see what gift I got.
I'm just gonna like you. I'm not gonna say that you haven't been a great girlfriend, but
I mean, this is Christmas FYF style, so please let me know.
Lately, it's just been we've been butting heads a bit, and that's just that.
Okay, so I get a lesser gift because you're gonna average out the full year. How is that gonna work?
I think it's just that we've been talking about gifts and ranges and what we're gonna do. So I'll be figuring that out. I haven't settled exactly on what it is I'm doing.
Oh wow, it's the 22nd. So you all heard it here. I'll let you know next week if I got the gift at all. It's 22nd. He said he hasn't settled yet.
You were just talking to me about gifts like yesterday.
I have several gift ideas for you, and I was narrowing it down.
You haven't settled on anything, so why are you trying to shade me?
Well, I know what I'm getting you.
Okay, and I have a very slim list of what I'm getting you. So exactly.
Thank you so much.
But you have not picked up anything more than we have Friday and Saturday, which is when a whole lot of people will be picking up gifts, because I think that's really when you Christmas shopping like August and September.
Yeah,
you're just a really big Christmas person.
Yeah.
And like that.
I've always been that way though. December 22nd or 23rd is Christmas gift giving day for me. It just, the malls actually were not as packed. I also don't like shopping. I don't like the concept because I think it is about family. I love the getting up and cooking. Like I'm cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner on Christmas, right? Like I'm doing all of that. I want to put the wine down. If people come by, I want to be able to feed them and do all of those things. So for me, it isn't about, okay, let's run under the tree. I wasn't even like that as a kid.
Here's the thing, like, here's my problem with Christmas and kind of holidays in general, with the exception of birthdays, because that's kind of, and I feel you, that's kind of your individual celebration day. But I don't like being bullied economically. And
ooh, I like that. Elaborate,
the holidays in America have. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only guy that feels that way, and it's just like.
I'm with you.
Even if you're not a person that enjoys putting on, you're kind of forced to put on for your significant other, because if you don't, it's like y'all do have like subliminal silent competition with each other, and Instagram has just made it go berserk. You know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be people posting cars and huge pieces of jewelry and all this other stuff, and if you're a person that's mindset is though that's what counts, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have situations. No, I know that we're both.
No, I'm just saying you have to want to be with somebody with the same mindset, because we don't have the same mindset. Like we have the same mindset with respect to.
Like it's not about that. And not cutting you off, but we were kind of coming into agreement that it's not about that. And again, it's more about family. That was my favorite part as a kid, though, was getting to do the rounds and getting to see everybody and getting to, pop, oh, what y'all got going on over here, and the eating and just the family aspects of it. I think that's what Thanksgiving, New Year's, like Christmas, this holiday stretch of season at the end of every year. That's what it kind of always has meant historically to me, but. I'm old enough now that I can recognize change, and yeah, man, especially in America, it's just every holiday now is more and more about just like straight up like, get the bag, girl, and it's like that's kind of insane. And I appreciate that you're not heavy into that, like, but I know there's a lot of dudes that just feel like it doesn't matter what you might have going on December 24th or 26th, you expected to be Santa Claus on the 25th. And a lot of people's eyes, and then you get into, there's the disappointment of, and I think there's a lot of, that's why this time of year also happens to be the time of the highest people deleting themselves.
Yes, it's the highest suicide rates is around the holidays. Yes.
That's so. Terrible. I think there's a lot of people that can kind of relate, like people robbing banks to go Christmas shopping and stuff like that. That's just ridiculous. Like, so now you're gonna spend the next 6 or 7 Christmases away from everybody because you was under pressure for that one. But that's why we gotta tighten up our mindset in America, because economics is important, but not just for buying stuff. Like, man, we gotta, especially as Black people, change our mindset. And I know, like, Black Finance Week kind of fizzled. I don't know if it was too early in the show, or we didn't have an attraction, or we were just boring or whatever. But we might have to revisit that a bit in the new year, where it's like, and it's not just because if we truly did harness our buying power, like we would fix our situation.
But I'm going to go back to that term you just used, which is economic bullying. And I think that's such a fundamental difference in certain communities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like certain communities do not allow the media, society to dictate how they do their traditions. This is why one of the questions I ask people about is, what kind of traditions do you have? Like my daughter knows I'm waking up on Christmas Day and she's going to hear Feliz Navidad. Love it or hate it, it's going to be played for hours and hours and hours.
Could be baking a certain type of cookie.
Exactly, baking whatever it is, like coming together, sitting around, just doing certain things that were important. For us, it's about family, like, doing her hair on Christmas Eve. Like it was always about togetherness. I never made it about gifts, and I always wanted her to understand that family was fundamentally important. Because if you didn't have anything, you had family. And I remember with my best friends, we always spent Christmas together for the last 20-something years. Like it was always at our best friend Odelia's house. And even with us, we would do the Secret Santa. And because there was 5 of us, right? Like there was 5 of us. Thank you.
Secret Santa is kind of cool. You could do that in your family even.
We loved it. We loved Secret Santa. Let me finish. We loved Secret Santa. And so we would pick a name and we would actually set a budget, right? And we would set it like $25 or $30. It was nothing expensive because even though we were all working people, we made a variety of money. One of my best friends, she happens to be a lawyer. And her bag is a little bit different than the real estate agent, than the person who works the 9 to 5. So, we always would set a budget that was comfortable and it was creative and we would create things and it was thoughtful and it was like,
you just have to think about the person.
Thank you. You really thought about that person and it was loving. And I remember with, because we all have kids, my daughter actually happens to be the youngest. And I remember one of the best gifts and I thought, oh no, my nieces are going to hate this. And I remember one of the best gifts, and my niece cried. I think she was maybe 16 at the time. She is now 25. And it was a letter. I had given her a book, and it was like a book, and it was a book that would allow her to write. It wasn't a journal, but it was a way to kind of put down the things that were important to her. And I wrote her a letter because I'd been helping to raise her since she was 1. And I wrote her a letter just telling her just how proud I was of the young woman that she was becoming, and how, this was an opportunity for her to write her future. And she could do it, and, all the hard work, and Auntie was behind her. And I remember her crying and coming to me and just hugging me. Like she was in tears and that gift cost me $25. Let's just say it was the journal and just taking the time to actually write the letter. And those were things that I gave. In some of my Secret Santa, I used to give like promissory things, right? And I would do every month, and there was like 12 of them or how many I decided to do, and it would allow my girlfriend to turn in a card, like if she needed a night of babysitting, if she, whatever the case is, and that's what we would do. And I always felt that was more important. The togetherness was more important. So I have never been of the mindset that I'm going to just try to outdo everybody else so we can put it on social media. It really was about togetherness.
And back to the point of, like we said, economic bullying. It's like, I'm not throwing shade at anyone. It does feel like it's about giving gifts and going big and doing the most. And, they might save all year in order to give super dope gifts to this, that, and the third and the fifth. So it's like, but it's to me, it should be like, again, however you celebrate your holidays, that's kind of the point I really want to make. And to each his own, but I think mindset is important, and
teaching your kids the true value of life.
That's what I was getting ready to get into, is like, because what is Christmas really about? It's like no one can really even specifically and honestly and with evidence, with providence, prove like what is December 25th?
Christians all around the world are celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. That's been widely understood to be, and it's a celebration of life and the bringing in of life, and You know what I'm saying? All of that is what
many
Christians have done.
pastors will tell you Jesus wasn't born on
Yes,
this.
there are many who say that as well.
So that's kind of the point. Is in this country, you know, it has, you know, almost every holiday has been, you know, they've made up a few. You know, Black Friday and Cyber Monday, for instance. You know, it's like, oh, we're gonna drop the price on everything,
Which they didn't, because they
you know,
raised it
again,
before only to drop it later.
I think the pandemic shook everybody up enough to where I think the whole world had a bit of perspective during that time that I don't know if we necessarily fixed us, but at least we thought about it a little bit more. You know what I mean?
And then that ish disappeared as soon as the world was back open. And people say, yes, the world is open. I'm going to spend all my money I saved during COVID, right? And that's why I appreciate, you know, cultures that actually have traditions.
Yes,
Hanukkah.
Traditions that aren't about. And then again, when you go overseas, they, like, if you know, and again, like in the hood where most of the stores on the corner, unfortunately, aren't owned by Black people, they're all open on the 25th.
Yeah,
because most of the people from the culture they're from that own the stores, they're like, we don't care nothing about December 25th.
Yeah. So if you think about
it's business as usual for them.
Hanukkah, Chinese New Year, things like
Diwali,
right? Like they're all of these cultural, traditional things that happen. That is amazing. And again, it is all about bringing family together and passing on wisdom to the next generation.
Have stories that they've been passing down and that's the point. Is like America, we got to get it together. We have very like short-term, last 15-minute type memory in this country, and like that's why we keep going through certain things kind of cyclically, if you ask me. We're focusing on a problem and then it'll go away for a little while. Like you said, it's back to yeehaw, world's back open, back to cutting people off, being rude, being an a-hole. And then the next bad thing will happen and people will pause and slow down for a minute. And maybe we should really carry over, like one of the traditions coming up is the New Year's resolution, which is the number one. Well, if
it's full of shit. Sorry. Like people do this. Like I do goal setting. I don't do.
Is the day of resolutions. January 2nd is the day of
breaking
resolutions.
That's why the gym is packed the second week of January. And after that, it's empty as crap. As someone who is a gym person, as someone who works out 6 to 7 days a week, and I've been doing that for decades, not years, decades, and I'm 43 years old. I think I ran out of my mother's womb, right? And was like, find me a weight. But as someone who's had to endure that, I'm telling you, is the worst, because all these novices come in and they want to do the bikes and they're doing all the fancy stuff. I'm telling you, by the last week of January, the gym is back to normal.
Yeah.
So I've always said I don't do resolutions, but I do goals. And so I started my goal setting. On Tuesday with my girlfriend Joanne. We both were going back and forth, and we'll do it again this Tuesday because we have a strategy call, and we set goals about these are the goals that we want to achieve. And we mostly talk about business goals, but we're going to also talk about some personal goals. What do you want to achieve personally? Those things are important. And then the steps that I'm going to take to do so, just resolving to do something isn't enough. So Vegas Light Bits said December 25th is actually the birthday of the pagan Roman sun god.
That too.
I did not know this. Did you know this?
Because when the Romans took over the Christians, they said, we can't go too crazy with it and just smash their religion. So we'll just kind of incorporate them one into another. Like, that's, I believe, pretty accurate.
So I know a lot of people that use that word pagan a lot.
That's why
it's a pagan holiday.
I don't even think pagan is totally even understood. Like, it's, again, we live in a world where the winners write history.
That they're the only ones alive to do so most of the time.
So,
right?
With that being said, you know what I mean? We've been told that a lot of things that are good that are actually bad, and we've been told a lot of things are bad that are actually good. And I think that's why we're in this age of information, in my opinion, where again, there's you know, there's a lot of censorship right now, but there's still a lot of places that you can go seek out the you know, alternate ways of looking at things, more accurate facts, more honest reflections of how history really was, you know, because again, there's whole civilizations that have been wiped out because they were the losers. And do you think the winners are really worried about telling the loser story accurately?
No, why would they be?
If they even gonna tell it at all.
Well, see, that's where I say it's important to create traditions within your own family.
Something for your kids to pass on, and therefore.
Thank you. And so if the tradition is all about gift giving, then that's what they're gonna pass down. Right? But if it is about, this is the idea, it's about family, it's about togetherness. I don't care if it is that you watch a movie. I don't care if it is you like you said, baking cookies, or you get up like I do and you play a special song, and it's just happiness and it's joy and it's, you know, grateful that we made it throughout this year, because I can tell you personally, for me, it's been the worst year of my 43 years of living by, you know, losing my father. This is the first Christmas I'm going to have without my father on this earth. And it's going to be the hardest day probably for me, because Christmas was really big for my daddy. And so for me, it's about the joy of life and birth and family and all of those things. And I think we have to be mindful about the messages that we're sending, especially when you have children, about what this is about.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So I felt like you had a moment and then it went away.
Well, I did, because it was just like, because in my head, somehow I kind of correlated what many people, you know, especially when you're younger and getting out there on your own and trying to do exactly that, develop your own traditions. Like, we think about that, like, quote unquote, American dream. And it got me to thinking, like, what is the American dream in 2022? And is it even a real thing?
No.
And if it is, like, who's buying it?
Well, it's a monetary dream. It isn't. I remember, you know, hearing, again, as somebody who's an immigrant, twice over, right? I understood when you came to a new country, and what was told to us when we were coming to these new countries is that life was going to be better with respect to education. That was something that was really big in my family, right? Only to find out that the education system wasn't as good as we thought it was. But that was what was sold to us back home. You're going to be able to have more opportunity, right? That's what that meant. So again, if you I came from a country of 3 million people. I moved to a country of over 30 million people. I'm now in a country of over 330 million people, right? The idea is it's expanding. And again, if you're coming from a small island to a large country, opportunities are going to be there. So you're going to be able to grow and build, and hard work could be rewarded. Like, that's what we were told as immigrants coming to a new country. It wasn't that you were necessarily going to have to live like the Joneses and you were going to get $1 million home, but you had the opportunity to get educated, to take that opportunity and turn it into a job that's going to allow you to own real estate, which you may not have been able to own back home, because again, limited resources back home compared to the new country that you're in. So that was our foreign. We in the West Indies, when you go to any country, other than the country you're from, we don't call it America, Canada. We just say we're going foreign. So when you got to foreign, that was the idea that your life would be better than what you left. For the people back in Jamaica whose life were already good, they never left.
Yeah.
They have no reason to leave.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the way that the world is becoming. It's like, and it's gonna, it's a lot. So that's not very Christmassy there. What I was thinking about is maybe we should find the one Christmas movie besides Elf is hilarious.
You know I love Elf. I've seen the tree and we gotta watch Elf on Christmas.
Definitely. Will Ferrell was at his most insane during that movie.
Please, if you have not watched Elf on Christmas, have your kids watch Elf. They will love it.
The historical one I think of is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Just the animation with the way they was trying to play Rudolph, man.
I don't know if I've ever watched the Rudolph movie. Funny though. I don't think I've ever watched
I
it.
have to try to find that on Amazon or Netflix. I'm sure it's on one.
It's on something. I mean, they're all gonna have them up there.
Yeah, but yeah, I think, you know, cookies, when I think of Christmas, like, I don't really like them all the time, but the little peanut butter cookie with the little chocolate Hershey Kiss stuck in the middle
Interesting.
of it.
I
like,
didn't know you like that. I might try to find that.
Around Christmas, those are dope. Like, someone baked them at work the other day, and they were very
Nice.
tasty.
Thank you for not bringing any home for me.
Well, they didn't last. There's a bag of crumbs still on the table, and there's like 3 bags of Christmas cookies. They got tore up.
And some of them people have the sugar cookies that's
I had
made
a
into
couple
stars.
of those. They were actually, but the peanut butter with the Hershey Kiss, because, you know, I'm not a huge chocolate fan like that, but it's like the little, I don't know what they call it, but it's the little peanut butter cookie, and then they put the little Hershey Kiss in the middle of it, and it's just fire.
Mine are those cookies, you know, that come in the blue tin. And they have the different layers of thing with the sugary thing on top. Yeah, I know you do. You don't ate off my cookies. But those are, I won't go into the reason. For me, it's a good and a bad memory, and I've used it as a good memory. But it was one of those things that when I was back home in Jamaica, that used to be sent in a barrel for me. So for those who don't know what a barrel is, it's basically when you are in foreign or in North America or wherever, England, it's just like a big packing thing, and it's round, and you pack. Your family packs things and then they ship them to you in your other country. And often it's things that we wouldn't be able to get back home. Yeah. Now, I actually don't think that's
Amazon.
No, it's not called Amazon.
Amazon.
It's not. Now, let me be honest. I actually don't think that's helpful to the economy of the country that you're sending it to. So let me be clear. I would actually rather send money to my family so that they could use that money in that country to increase the wealth in that country instead of splitting it. But there's Jordans back home. Like, it's just if you send the people the money, then they can actually buy it from the people that are in the country. But that's just my own thing. My mom used to send a barrel all the time, especially when she had came to Canada and I was still in Jamaica. So there are certain like things that remind me, like for me, the things that make me happiest at Christmas is the things that remind me of the joy of being a child in Christmas, and it had nothing to do with gift giving.
For sure. And, you know, like, I grew up in Rochester, New York, so it was always plenty snow around Christmas. And now being in Arizona, it's negative on the snow, even though we are brick cold outside. I don't know what y'all do in the rest of the country. Y'all can keep your cold weather. We don't want it here. It has been in the 40s, highs in the 60s, and it has not been feeling very much like the Valley of the Sun around here. But we do know some of y'all is going through some real trauma right now. And
Toronto's about to get a heavy storm.
This is going to be an interesting weekend in the NFL because there is a few games that are expected to be brick. It's going to be a cold weekend.
And there's, you know,
many places. So,
and Christmas games on in the NBA, like that's actually a big thing for me.
6 or 7.
Yeah, there's a ton of games. So it's usually a game that starts at noon, and the last game is at 9.
Basketball,
and that was big for me.
It's a big deal.
I'm in a fantasy league. It's a whole thing. Yeah. For me, it's always been basketball on Christmas, and everybody knew Toshiba had to watch basketball, and I would start with the early game, and then I go into the late game, and even if it was just something for me, again, it brings me to a happy place, right? And I think it's just getting everything for people, and I think every family should start a tradition, something that they can pass down.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's about family. I hate the fact that it's turned into a consumer holiday.
That's what I mean. That's where the economic bullying comes from. Is that it's really not that, but I think that maybe that is on us as the the fellas and the men of the house, and unfortunately, and even whatever sidetracking. But yeah, developing traditions, that would probably be the FYF quote unquote advice for the holidays. Would just be like just start a tradition. Cookies are a great place to start. Rice Krispie treats, it's hard to jack up baked goods. Like you gotta really, except for cakes, but like cookies and Rice Krispie, anybody can do Rice Krispie treats.
You would think things are done.
You would think, but I have had some hard like a brick all Rice Krispie, no marshmallow Rice Krispies.
I've stopped
Yeah,
believing that things are dummy proof. So trust me.
Yeah,
Some experiences that I've had, I'm realizing that things are not dummy proof. People are dummies.
If you can't bake or cook, go buy something to eat decent. There's a few places.
And don't give people that advice because it's so against everything I stand for.
Like,
Thank you.
YouTube, some.
That is against everything I stand
cookies,
for.
Plain sugar cookies. All you need is like butter and flour and baking soda.
I've never brought.
I don't think you need much of anything.
A big.
In an egg or two.
I've never brought to someone's home on Christmas something I bought somewhere else.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Like, don't do that. If it's ever a time.
No, yeah, I'm sorry. That it was bad. Like, learn how to bake something. That would be a tradition. Learning how to do something.
Like, no, if there was ever a time for you to figure out how to properly feed and nourish your family, it would be Christmas because it's about that, right? Like, make the mistakes, burn the cookies on Christmas Eve, and then do it again and make fun of it and record it and have that fun and then go online. There is no excuse for me not to be able to nourish your family on Christmas.
I don't know. I've seen that show, like Worst Cooks in America. Like, it is some people that can over years remain terrible in the kitchen.
But you know what? Maybe there's some fun in that. There is some fun and joy in, oh my God, Auntie Claire is going to bring her terrible, but she's going to make them anyways, and she loves it, and you pretend you love them.
We're going to eat everybody. You want to laugh, like, yep, they still terrible. One day, these cookies is going to be okay.
But that's fun for families, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's not, I think, again, we've turned it into a consumerism. A lot of holidays.
You love, that would be a better way to
Thank
put
you.
it. Like, develop a tradition, whether you bounce, if you have a big family, bounce from house to house to house, but develop a core tradition, start the day off, like you said, put a song on, throw a movie on. There's a ton of different ways to go about it, but I think we got to get back to building our traditions, building our families, building just something more than just being outside.
So speaking traditions, okay, is there a tradition moving forward that you would want to start?
I want to definitely with the baking. I haven't figured it out, but we'll do that. I gotta actually go sneak out tonight and get my Secret Santa gift for work. So I got that going on. I'm like, hey man, just last minute inspires the most creativity when it comes to gift buying. But
as in you're gonna sneak out, or you're gonna ask me to come with you to help you
sneak out
to get the gift.
Sneak out was a terrible way of putting it.
Thank you.
I am capable of purchasing a $25 gift on my own, but
are you?
See, sometimes people get carried away with you are important, but I am not.
Oh, okay. So then you don't need me.
I'm not saying that.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get mad if I say that.
I don't.
And you can come along.
Okay.
So that would be like me saying you can go to Walmart by yourself. You're not gonna like that.
No, but you can. I want to see.
Just like me going and buy a gift without you, you're gonna come back and be like, I'll come back and you be like, it sucks. Why you do Yes, you will. You're automatically like, that sucks. Why'd you do that? Who'd you buy that for?
I'm not gonna do that. I'd love for you to do it without me. I'd be interested to see what you bring back.
I already know where I'm gonna go. It's like again, I'm like,
we're just gonna go to Ross. Exactly. It's like, because I already told him in Ross there's all these sections. Ross is the best place ever for this.
But yeah, something like I said, I thought about it enough that I can put together a little gift for the person that I have for Secret Santa, and I am gonna do well.
Okay, that's great. So what traditions though are you going to?
Like a movie, basketball, cooking.
But basketball's already a thing.
Yeah, right? But no, again, just spending time around the house with family. Like, we're not really in a place that we gotta do a ton of moving around or anything like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll just, Trey is here. We'll just kick it around the house. I definitely want to do something along the lines of, I've got a easy cake to bake, but maybe do some cookies, like look up a nice cookie recipe, start from scratch with them. Maybe do the cookies I was talking about, figure out what the heck they're called so I can actually learn how to make them myself. That would be a good idea. And Christmas movie, basketball, hang out at the house, laugh, chill. Maybe mimosas. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Oh, mimosas. Okay, that's amazing. Good for you. I look forward to this, and I will put it up for everyone to see all these Christmas fun behind the scenes things that we're gonna do.
You know, there's youngsters in the house, so there's that. There'll be some generational lightheartedness. We actually got us a little baby tree in the house.
Yes, it's literally a baby
It's
tree.
a baby tree.
Don't do the big. I'm not spending $200-$300 on a tree. I can't.
To each his own. If you
it's not for me.
You know,
personally.
I have a preference for a real tree, but I don't want to have to clean up behind no real tree. So we do it a little artificial. You can throw it up on the storage when comes New Year's and you take it down. And that's a wrap. But to those that go big, those that go live, you know, to each their own. Knock yourself out. How much more time do we get?
A little bit. And happy holidays to you as well, Twins Inc. We hope you have an amazing. I'm just gonna say Christmas because I celebrate Christmas. So. I think it's going to be amazing. I really do hope people take that time.
It's gonna be cold, so that'll be nice.
That too, but I think people take the time to reflect on the last few years and how important it is that any of us made it to this point. I hope that's what people do. It's kind of use it as Thanksgiving and have a moment of what are you grateful for this year, you know, and what are you looking forward to next year. And I think that's one of the things that I want to start with the family is doing that and talk about, and I've done that at my best friend's house where I used to have Christmas every year, and we talk about what, you know, what were you grateful for this year and what are you looking forward to next year.
Yeah, try not to be super selfish, try to make it about other people and do stuff like
I mean, that's asking a lot of people, but
yeah, I know, especially in today's day and age, you know, but yeah, maybe try not to be super selfish. I know eventually, you know, it'll be tough this year because it's last minute and that's something you got to coordinate. But I know another great idea of a tradition that I would like to get into or back towards is volunteering on Christmas.
I love that. Going to the soup kitchen?
Yes,
oh my God, we should do that. I'm sure we can go around.
Appreciate your day when you go and help people and interact with people that have had a really tough time or are having a really tough time around the holidays. And yeah, it's a tremendous time of giving also. So while on one end, I guess it's more about where you want to put your focus and, you know, how you want to spend your time. But I think, you know, being altruistic, being giving,
I love that actually.
You know, giving, I think it's more about giving than getting, especially, you know, as you get older and you just grow up, man, and start having compassion for other people and for the world. Like if everybody is always going after their own thing, like this world's gonna get super ugly really quick, you know, like because there's just too many people.
I actually love that. You know me, now that you put it in my head, I'm going to be Googling to find out if there is a soup kitchen or some place that we can go. Because I'll be up early in the morning. We'll grab the girls and go.
So like this, you know, Christmas especially, it's Sunday morning, so it'll be a lot going on as far as not, you know, most of the retail places will be closed, and they should be. You know, your little gas stations here and there be open, but that's not a day anybody should really be forcing folks to work like that. You know, so usually the streets are fairly dead. You got people that are just traveling to families' house and stuff like that, but I think especially you'll see that this Sunday, especially here in the valley, it's gonna be cold. People are just gonna be kind of chilling, and you'll see some night. And Sunday night tends to be in a lot of parts of the country a pretty lit night as far as that's when the adults. You haven't seen your siblings and
you guys after the kids are done the stuff, you send them downstairs or upstairs or wherever.
And the libations start. And next thing you know is you're getting multiple Ubers and people is off up in somebody's night spot or bar or whatever. You know, there's not a ton of places open, but as you get into the evening, there's places that'll be open, and it's just spend time with your folks. Try not to be selfish. Try to give something to somebody else, or give some time or encouragement or just good vibes. Just don't be the Grinch. That's I think the biggest thing is like, don't let people be the Grinch. Don't have the Grinch around, and keep people keep negative energy away for this.
So I'm gonna add to your volunteering. And if you cannot volunteer, something that I had done one day, well, I attempted to do it. So I had gone and bought a bunch of pizzas, because pizzas are fairly easy. Most people buy a cheese pizza or half cheese, half, whatever it is that you do. And I was going to go around and give it out in this kind of homeless encampment park until my daughter was like,
are you
what
going to get murdered? Or
the hell are you doing?
Like,
So we ended up, I guess she was like, first of all, they're going to stick you with their freaking heroin needle.
I mean,
And all that. No, she was like, it's not a thing. So we ended up finding a shelter and going to the shelter. And I probably had 8 or so boxes of pizza that I bought, and we ended up just giving it to the shelter. And the shelter was really grateful because, again, after all of that food is done, and again, they're only giving. Exactly, right? Yeah. And it wasn't me going into the encampment. Right? And again, I don't pretend to be someone who is made of money, but it made me feel good that I was going to be giving something. Another thing that me and my best friends have done on Christmas is we've sponsored a family. So what we used to do is there was a place, it was a center for young mothers, young single mothers, and I would ask the director of the place to tell me about a young lady that she thought deserved to kind of be sponsored. And she would give us a list of things that they wanted, and the group of 5 of us, we would go out and buy from that list and tell each person what they bought, and then I would go right before Christmas and deliver the gifts to that place, and then they would deliver it. So we never actually knew who the young lady was, because for a lot of these young girls, it's embarrassing, and then there's a confidentiality thing. But we have gotten actually really nice cards from some of these young ladies who said their families didn't even care about them. They kind of threw them out. So for people virtual strangers who did not know them, to do this for them and their kids. And again, it wasn't like we might each say we're gonna do $100. So there was 5 of us. So it'd be like $500 worth of stuff. Or again, for someone who's not expecting it, especially with not being able to provide for their kids, that was something. And again, I want to be able to get back to doing stuff like that. So.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great idea as well. Again, just being, sympathetic and compassionate and giving, especially people that do have, fairly decent life, to be sitting up there, when there's people in homeless shelters and there's people living in their cars, and there's people really going through hard times. So it's definitely a time to be thankful and appreciative, and just look around, because you think anybody is, you think that dude is just hanging out up under the building because he's drunk. You know what I mean? Like, it's sometimes people nobody wants to be homeless, bro. I'm pretty sure about that.
Well, Christmas is supposed to be a time for giving and joy and memories, and I think I'd love for people to get back to that. If you are a consumerism person, God bless you, but it really should be about giving back to people and caring about other people. We only have this one life, and I think you should do the best with the life while you're here. So we're getting to our question bowl, and Robert is going to go first.
It's funny she gave me this one.
Well, I didn't give you anything. You picked it.
I feel like you.
I did not, and you literally saw Robert pick. Do you see what happens in my life?
I feel like she made this a certain size that would just be attractive to me or something like that. But anyway, what chore do you hate? The chore that I hate the most is probably cleaning bathrooms, with washing dishes behind that.
And please share with the people, what chore do you actually do in the house?
I am the official sanitation worker of this residence.
So the one thing he does do is take the garbage out.
I'm the official pest terminator.
What?
Y'all both be bugging when there's spiders.
First of all, you've never seen me bugging spiders. I am not a wimp. Talk about your child, but not me. I have never ever had to have you do anything. Stop this. Yeah, no. So the one thing you do is
sanitation worker and light keeper on her mostly.
What do you mean the light keeper? Oh, because I like to be in the dark?
No, just roof overhead.
You know what, Robert? I'm done with you. So Robert's chore is to make sure that hey sis, happy holidays to you and the family as well. Your sister's on, Robert. Okay, so Robert feels his job is the lightkeeper honor. Anyways, what I'm done with you. What day of the week is your favorite? That's actually a good question. For me, over the last few years, it's been Tuesday.
I was gonna say Tuesday.
It's good Tuesday because it's a day that I do strategy with my girlfriend Joanne.
It's Taco Tuesday.
And oh my God! And apparently for Robert, it's also Taco Tuesday.
We tend to do Taco Tuesday.
We do Taco Tuesdays. No, we do. Listen, I'm not embarrassed, but we do Taco Tuesday.
Arizona, that might be a bigger holiday. That's a weekend. Every week. Taco Tuesday, baby. You can get tacos for like 59 cents.
Oh well, we've never bought tacos.
No,
don't be trying to make the people think that you're buying tacos.
No,
he does not buy tacos. I make everything from scratch. And we also use Impossible meat.
Wait,
and
hold
we
on.
replace
When you say from scratch, the true taco people gonna think we out here corn.
Okay, well I'm not needing the corn and all that. We do have a taco kit.
My bag tortillas, and we have a situation that we put together. We have awesome Taco Tuesday.
I'll do rice and corn and beans and salsa and avocado.
Impossible product.
And we use the Impossible beef.
Fire.
It's really, really good.
Yes. Is it your
yes,
turn?
no, it's your turn.
My turn? Okay. If you had to change your name, what would it be? I'm so used to Robert. I wouldn't change it, but if I had to change it, or if I could change it, I'd probably go something ridiculous like Meta World Peace route and just make somebody call.
Okay, so what would it be?
Let me think. I could just I'd give myself some type of official professor title, because again, you can call yourself anything these days. So it would be like
Prince was a symbol, so
yeah.
Whatever, right?
Yeah,
like from those
Professor Prince, X or something like that.
Oh God.
Well, no, because that's the X-Men. So
thank you.
So I was thinking like Malcolm X, but then
that's
already taken.
That's already taken.
So yeah, I don't know, Robert.
Okay, well then we got.
I'm just so used to Robert. I can't even imagine no other life.
I feel you, Robert. Okay. If you could have anything right now, what would it be? I actually have everything I want right now. My daughter's here.
Oh, that's.
Can you let me finish mine?
That's the caveat. That's the caveat.
We were talking about Christmas, and I would not have a Christmas without my daughter. I wouldn't even understand what that's like. I've had my daughter for 21 years. And so right now, in this moment, I have everything that I need and require.
Great answer. Where do you want to live when we retire? I really ultimately not want to, but will say sayonara America eventually, not in that I would not reside in the country at all, but just not permanently. I need to get away from this place somewhere. So I would think
it'll be somewhat tropical.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
That's smaller. That's a little bit slower.
Slower pace, more third world-ish.
So we've talked about Jamaica, definitely. That's where I'm from. But it could be Puerto Rico. It could be the Cayman Islands. It could be.
There's a lot of natural.
Bahamas, Barbados.
I don't know. Maybe I really do want to do more research and interest into Africa, because it's like right now everybody invested in Africa but Black African. Black American.
Gambia, I've heard good things about Gambia.
There's a lot of positivity going on the
Ghana, Nigeria.
There's a lot of expats in Northern Africa, Eastern Africa. All over. Like it's a continent that has a whole story that here in America I think we should be more familiar with, because again, how we get treated here, we don't have to get treated everywhere. Different set of problems, definitely. It's nowhere you're gonna go and it's just all good. But again, there's the whole continent where you're in the majority.
And as someone who was born in an all-Black country, I can tell you, It is very different. I didn't even know I was Black until I was 9, just so you know. I didn't know I was Black until I moved to Canada and I was told I was Black. I was just Toshiba, the Jamaican girl. I was Toshiba, right? I was Toshiba. My family has a vast.
Quite interesting.
Yes, it was, because my family has
Culture
got Black and white and Asian, and if you go to a family reunion, like an Indian and all of these different cultures, but at the end of the day, we were all Jamaican. So that's what was important. Anyways, last question. I think we might be frozen on Instagram. I don't know what happened. Oh, are we back? We might have been frozen on Instagram for a second. We'll just continue on YouTube. So the last question, and this is actually a really good one. Come back, Instagram. I don't know if there are too many people on it, but for YouTube, this is our last question. What questions should partners ask each other before they get married? So I'm going to repeat it again. What questions should partners ask each other before they get married? I think one of the questions that people need to ask is, what does worse look like for you? Right? What does worse look like?
W-O-R-S-E.
Yes, I'm Jamaican. So W-O-R-S-E. So again, when you get married, they say for better or for worse. What is your worse? What could worse be like? Oh, we're back on Instagram. So if you missed it on Instagram, but we're frozen again. Sorry, YouTube. It's jumping around. So I think I would want to know, define worse.
Yeah, that's a good.
What does worse look like? Because I think if my worst and your worst are so vastly different, we need to figure that out, because everybody is good during the better, right? Are we going to be just as good during the worst? And I think that's going to be a pivotal question of what does worse look like. And I think, there's other questions. Again, in our relationship, it's very clear, right? If we come to a fork in the road, who makes the decision? Our relationship has always been that you make the final decision, with input from me. And for those who might want to say he's a misogynist and he doesn't care about, that's not the case. Like, I always have a say, but the final decision, you can't have people trying to go in different directions, right? Like, if you're in a relationship, you go one. But I think the most pivotal question is definitely finding out from your spouse, what does worse look like? Do you want to do one more question each, or do you want to just wrap up?
I'll just wrap up, I guess, with this. What was the moment you laughed harder than you've ever laughed? Oh man, I have a life full of laughter, though. Like, I have a life full of all kind of crap. But one of the strengths of myself is I can laugh at all kind of crazy stuff.
Yes, you can.
I don't know, but I just remember it was forever ago. Like, I was probably a teenager, but I remember I was sitting at a mall one day, and from my vantage where I was sitting, and it was raining, and I guess the floor was really slick that particular day, whatever. But while I was sitting there, I must have saw like 5 or 6 people took a little tumble. And I know that's bad by some people's definitions, but seeing people when they're like trying to catch themselves and they boop, man, I was over there hollering.
That's very Robert of you. So it's not bad. It's just very Robert of you to do. And I appreciate you for that, for being always Robert. Okay, I generally know what to expect from Robert.
I've had so many times
no, we laugh a lot together. We laugh all the time. We laugh all the time.
I'm like full of laughter.
I think that's important, and that's what the holidays is about.
Yeah.
Laughing, loving, living, enjoying life. So we hope that's what you took from this show, and we hope that's what you bring into your holiday, into Christmas. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanza, and all of that, whatever you celebrate. Before we go, we of course have to thank our sponsors, Sorrel and Sage. Please check them out. If you need a last minute gift, go to their website at shopsorrelandsage.com. Natural skincare products made from scratch. Check out their Instagram at Sorrel and Sage CA. Again, she's got the Sheba butter that is great for skin and for hair, and it is named after Muwa. Robert?
Happy holidays, whatever. Have Merry Christmas. Have some fun. Enjoy yourself. Be around people you care about, and laugh a lot.
I love that. And like we like to say, bring a little fuck your feelings into your life and into your relationship and into Christmas this year, because it might just make you and your partner and your family stay together. So until next week and next time, it's going to be a new year. We will see you next week. Thank you so much. And we out of here, Instagram. And if you are on YouTube, please make sure that you are liking and subscribing to our channel. We need to grow, and bring more some fuck your feelings into your life. So we will see you next week. Happy holidays. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Adios.